أولا أنا أحتسب معاذ عند الله شهيدا إن شاء الله، مخلدا في الجنة مع الصديقين، مع الشهداء، مع الأنبياء إن شاء الله. صبري جميل، أستعين بالله وأطلب من الحكومة الأردنية أن تثأر لدم معاذ. هذول مجرمين وكان لهم دور في، ولا توجد مقارنة بينهم وبين معاذ. معاذ دمه أغلى من ساجد الريشاوي ومن زياد الكربولي ومن أعداد قدهم ملايين المرات. دم معاذ أغلى منه، هو دم الوطن. معاذ دمه دم الوطن ويجب أن يثأر للوطن.
هل يكتفي يعني ولا الجميع المحكومين تطالب؟
أنا أطالب أنه ما يظل عندنا ولا واحد حي، وأطالب أن يكون الثأر أكبر من أنه نعدم مساجين. أنا أطالب بإبادة هذا التنظيم، تنظيم داعش، هذا التنظيم المجرم اللميم الملموم من كل أقطار العالم، الذي يتعامل بصورة وحشية، لا يراعي قوانين إنسانية ولا قوانين دولية ولا قوانين أسر. لذلك أطالب الحكومة وبقوة إنهم يثأروا لدم معاذ ودم الوطن. الوطن هو في معاذ.
هو استشهاد كان بالفئة سائقة للشعب الأردني وللحكومة الأردنية، ولكن احنا كشعب أردني أولا لازم نتوحد ضد هذا التنظيمات الإرهابية بشكل عام، ونطالب الحكومة حتى الرد اللي الصبح لإعدام الرشاوي والكربلاني العراقية، هذا رد بسيط بالنسبة لهذه المجزرة اللي قامت فيها التنظيمات الإرهابية الشنيعة.
إعدام ساجد الرشاوي وزمرتها أقل ما يمكن للرد على هذه الجريمة البشعة، وننتظر من الحكومة إن شاء الله أن يكون الرد أقسى وأقوى على هذه الجريمة البشعة التي طالت كل الأردنيين وطالت كل الأحرار في الأمة العربية والعالم ضد هذه الجريمة التي لا تمثل الإنسانية بأي صلة.
So, Hillary, I want to go to you on this because I think it's going to be a pretty big battle. The president's going to take this to the American public. He's talking to Democrats about it tonight. Should we stay the course, keep our belt tightened, or maybe loosen it up? The economy's doing okay. Get some more government spending out there.
Well, the government spending has to be exactly what you said. It has to be in jobs and creating jobs. And if President Obama pulls anything again like all this the spending for clean technology and throwing billions.
What about the free community college thing? That's like at the top. That seems to be, in his mind, when he can get the sway the public, the middle.
That's completely political on every level. And it's
what about from an economic point of view, though? Does it make any sense at all?
It could make sense, but because it'll take those that are looking for jobs and put them into community colleges. So from that sense, it's like a Band-Aid for a short term until the elections come.
It doesn't make sense because those are the jobs that we're lacking right now. It's the skilled jobs. It's not the two-year community college. You're going to have a lot of people with a two-year degree without a job that we paid for. Right. It makes no sense.
Right. And here's the thing, Scotty. The president he's coined this as middle-class economics, which I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I do fear that it means that we're all sort of bunched in. You know, we don't have the income inequality gap because we'll crunch it down and we'll all be equally miserable.
Well, I think it's interesting.
In the middle.
In the middle. President Obama defines the middle class as being basically $100,000 to $250,000 for a joint couple. Is that you fall into the middle class? The problem with this is he's basically not motivating people to get to the upper class. The more money you make, the more he's going to take away in taxes. So what is the motivation right there? And they're also proving that today you have a harder chance of actually getting into that next class level unless you had some background, some wealth backing up from an inheritance or some other asset that you necessarily didn't accumulate yourself.
I'm smirking here because the middle class, $250,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think the president, I thought it was less than that for the president.
There was a study that came out today that said the 1%er in states like New Mexico is $241,000. So I don't know where this middle class lays here.
I'm telling you right now, whatever the number is, it's getting lower and lower.
It's combined assets. No, it's not just salary and paycheck. It's how
I think President Obama thinks the middle is somewhere around considering that the average now household income is $34,000, maybe he'll think it's like $36,000 or something like that. What do you think, Rob?
You know, I agree with Matt that this, from the standpoint of for-profit education, which is already under fire, and now we're going to try to dump more people into community colleges, and there's going to be that skill gap.
The federal government made banks make loans that they shouldn't have made. A bunch of money was poured into it. What happened to housing prices? They went through the roof. What's happening to student loans? They're going through the roof. The more money the government makes easy and available out there to people who aren't going to, for the most part, even finish and get a degree, you talk about taxpayers being on the hook. It's crazy.
Oh, you would take it too, right? I mean, they're giving the money away.
I would. I got to tell you something, though.
Not you personally, but I'm saying
people won't be surprised. I joined the Air Force to go to college. And none of my friends went. Every night I would go to class, and all my friends are chilling, drinking beers, and grilling steaks. I said, I'm going to catch up. I can drink 3 beers like that. As soon as class is out, I'll catch up. So I think it might be a gimmick. I'm not sure how many people would take advantage of it.
Welcome to latest world news. NATO is set to announce details of a plan to bolster the alliance's military presence in Eastern Europe in response to continued fighting in Ukraine. The bloc's chief says it will be the biggest reinforcement of its collective defense since the end of the Cold War. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is to hold talks in Kiev as the U.S. considers whether to send weapons to help Ukraine fight pro-Russian rebels. The U.S. has so far only provided non-lethal assistance to Ukraine. On Wednesday, Ashton Carter, the White House's choice for defense secretary, said he was inclined to start supplying arms. NATO defense ministers meeting in Brussels on Thursday will seek to reassure the alliance's member nations in Eastern Europe by boosting its forces there. A rapid reaction force of up to 5,000 is expected to be announced, with its lead units able to deploy at 2 days' notice. NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg had said the bloc faces a fundamental change to its security environment because of Russian aggression. Speaking as ministers arrived in Brussels, he said, "This is something we do as a response to the aggressive actions we have seen from Russia, violating international law and annexing Crimea," he said. "I very much underline that this is something we do because we have to adapt our forces when we see that the world is changing." NATO will also reveal plans for a network of small command centers in Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria. The BBC's Jonathan Marcus says the move is to deter a potential Russian threat to the Baltic states or other bloc members should the crisis in Ukraine spin out of control. Russia denies accusations by Ukraine and the West that it is arming rebels in eastern Ukraine and sending regular troops across the border.